It's Thursday, December 17. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. The Pan-American Health Organization, PAHO, says it is in talks with 2 additional coronavirus vaccine manufacturers. If successful, the 2 drugs will be added to the World Health Organization's COVID19 Vaccine Global Access, COVAX, facility. Assistant Director of the Pan-American Health Organization, PAHO, Dr. Jabas Barbosa, gave an update at a recent press briefing.
As of November 23rd, we started the 3rd phase of this bidding process. And after that, we're going to have the amounts and quantities for delivery in 2021.
Dr. Barbosa believes that the COVAX facility will be successful in its aim of equal distribution of quality COVID-19 vaccines.
By March of next year, we will have the vaccines arriving in the countries. And no country, as far as the second question, no country in the region had to change their strategy. Some countries in the region had bilateral agreements signed on their own account to have more options. COVAX was never presented as the only alternative for vaccination access, but the 10 countries in the region that are eligible and that will receive the vaccine without having to pay for it are already accounted for and are in the process of sending all of the documents. So our expectation continues to be very high, and that is that COVAX, in addition to helping in COVID-19, could be one of the ongoing mechanisms around the world to guarantee equitable access to vaccine research, EPP, etc., during public health emergencies of international concern.
In the meantime, PAHO's director, Dr. Carissa F. Etienne, says the COVID-19 pandemic is undoubtedly the most extraordinary public health event of our lifetimes. She acknowledged the strain that COVID-19 has put on global public health systems, but urged continued vigilance, not just for COVID-19, but for other illnesses as well.
Health systems across our region struggled to manage the influx of COVID-19 cases due to limited supplies, space, and staff. The COVID-19 response also disrupted the essential health services that people depend on to manage conditions like HIV, TB, as well as diabetes and hypertension. As a result, patients are at greater risk from these treatable conditions, and our region could lose decades of progress against diseases. 2020 should be a clarion call for all countries to put health first, now and into the future. The well-being of our communities and our economies depend on it.
The Heart NSTA launched a new mobile training unit at Garmex Academy in Kingston on Wednesday. Prime Minister Andrew Holness was on hand at the ceremony and hailed the initiative as part of the government's commitment to reach Jamaicans who are unable to complete formal education or skills training. The unit can accommodate 20 students and is internet-enabled for students to connect. The aim is to serve students in rural areas who are facing challenges in accessing classes due to the impact of COVID-19. British Airways has resumed flights between London Gatwick and Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James after an 11-year hiatus. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett made the announcement during his contribution to this week's sitting of Parliament. We have more on the minister's update on the tourism sector in this report. The tourism minister says British Airways will be making 2 trips per week to Jamaica.
The twice-weekly BA flight will operate for the winter season until April 17, with a capacity of 31 business class, 52 premium economy, and 250 economy seats. While Copa Airline resumes weekly service to Jamaica on December 7, with a flight from Tocumen Airport in Panama City to Sangster's International Airport, it was, Mr. Speaker, the first flight that this airline had had to Jamaica since the COVID impact on our destination.
He says the Jamaica Tourist Board has maintained relations with its airline partners to drive bookings for the winter season.
In a strong show of confidence in destination Jamaica, Madam Speaker, our airline partners have committed 1.1 million seats for the upcoming winter tourist season as we seek to regain our strong footing in the market. Of that number, Madam Speaker, some 450,000 are out of the United States, our largest source market. While these seats number are 40% less, of course, than last winter, we are significantly up where it is concerned in terms of the fall, because the fall was really what you could call a fall. And so this buoyancy that we're seeing represents a 40% up on what we had in the fall.
In addition to positive activity out of key markets, plans are in place to replicate Jamaica's new travel health insurance initiative in other countries.
We are adding another layer to the existing health and safety measures, Madam Speaker, and that is a revolutionary safety and what I call a confidence-building solution that we, Jamaica, have dubbed Jamaica Cares. And this is, in fact, Madam Speaker, a solution that will position Jamaica as one of the most COVID-resilient countries in the world when it is launched later on. It is a groundbreaking travel protection and emergency service program that provides visitors with the cost of Medicare, evacuation, field rescue, case management, and patient advocacy in all circumstances too, and including natural disasters.
The tourism minister says his team is constantly reviewing and revising health and safety measures, noting that negative COVID-19 test results will now have to be presented to airlines at check-in and again when visitors land. The move replaces the need to upload results online before travel. In this next report, we get more details on the government's planned rollout of the National Broadband Connectivity Initiative. Science, Energy and Technology Minister Darrell Vaz and other key stakeholders gave details and timelines at a virtual press brief on Wednesday. Marlon Samuels has that story.
The COVID-19 pandemic has exposed inherent weaknesses in Jamaica's technological infrastructure of lack thereof. Enter the government's National Broadband Initiative. The initiative is two-pronged. The first is a 100-day ICT action plan rollout. Operations Manager of the Traffic Management Unit at the National Works Agency, Michael Sanderson, explains.
The Broadband Initiative consists of two components. One is the immediate set of actions to deal with the COVID pandemic, and another set of actions to deal with the medium to long term to really take Jamaica into the future.
He spoke to the main project components of the rollout.
The main project component is that the government will build out of a national free-to-air digital television network, and that is to reach practically 90% of Jamaicans have a TV set and they get their news from a television set. And so it's important for us to have the ability to reach people in their home. And the best way to do that is to use digital television technology. So the government, through the PBCJ, will roll out a national free-to-air digital television network. The second component is rolling out a national fiber optic communication backbone. And that, when we say national, really mean national. It means that the fiber optic cable will touch every parish capital and come back to Kingston. The third component is to expand public Wi-Fi in public spaces to ensure that those communities that have no infrastructure like fiber can access the internet through public Wi-Fi. And the fourth, and that last, is to provide internet service to schools without internet. So we're prioritizing connecting those schools, which I think is about 320 schools that are now currently without internet, that we need to connect right away.
This initiative will rely heavily on the creation of a national fiber backbone. This is expected to build out public access to Wi-Fi by expanding current hotspots.
The fiber backbone will also support the rolling out of public Wi-Fi hotspots in areas that we couldn't reach before. Right now we have 13 hotspots, and they're primarily in the urban areas across the country. By having a national fiber backbone, you're able to now extend the Wi-Fi hotspots into deep rural communities. and enable a lot more Jamaicans to have access to the internet. So the Wi-Fi hotspots we expect over the next 6 months to move from 13 to at least 30.
Portfolio Minister Vaz outlined the urgent need for the country's upgrade.
We are in a race not just against time, but for our lives and livelihoods. As I said yesterday in Parliament, Jamaica fixed broadband penetration is 11.65%, while mobile penetration is at 59.76%. For the OECD countries, those figures are 33% and 96% respectively. Jamaica cannot compete with the rest of the world given its current ICT infrastructure. The economy will not recover fast enough given the current capabilities.
The GOJ has gotten funding assistance from the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, for the program. A national broadband task force under the chairmanship of Michael Leachin has been set up. They will provide high-level guidance to the ministry's team and to ensure that the interaction of the IDB and other stakeholders remains targeted and strategic. For the news on PBCJ, I am Marlon Samuels.
With a population of almost 103,000 souls, Portmore is said to be the largest dormitory community on the island. That said, should Portmore become Jamaica's 15th parish? This question is now being deliberated by a joint parliamentary committee. They had their first sitting on Wednesday. Melvin Pennant tells us more.
The committee is being chaired by former Science, Energy and Technology Minister Andrew Wheatley. He made the case for Portmore to be recognized as a parish.
Based on the pronouncement of not only member, the former Mayor George Lee, but former Prime Minister Bruce Golding, and a recent pronouncement by the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, that the time has come for Portmore to have more than just the municipality status, but to become the 15th parish of Jamaica. It is not something that we should take lightly. And I believe that this pandemic has even given more impetus to the move of establishing Portmore as a parish. But as I stated before, it's more than just a parish status. We have to ensure that Portmore becomes the blueprint for the advancement of other parishes within this country.
St. Catherine Southern Member of Parliament Fitz Jackson went even further.
And for the records, it must be clear that the Portmore municipality was never the brainchild of any political, of the government at the time. The Portmore municipality was the brainchild of the people of Portmore. You mentioned George Lee, who was at the time president of the Portmore Joint Citizens Association, which was the umbrella citizens association for the Portmore area. And it is true that community, citizens, residents grouping, that the voice of Portmore was organized and presented to the powers that be.
The committee is comprised of 14 members and they will resume weekly sittings after the parliamentary Christmas break. Melvin Pennant, PBCJ News.
Pavement works, which started along the 400-meter corridor between Colville Avenue and Corville Gardens intersection last weekend, is expected to be wrapped up today. National Works Agency Communication Manager Stephen Shaw says the roadworks will affect extreme right and right turning lanes on Winnie Drive. He says the work will begin at 10 a.m. and is projected to be completed within a 4-hour time frame. Motorists should expect traffic delays as a result, he further said. And in other local news, dancehall DJ Okeefe Aarons, popularly known as Laden, has been sentenced to 4 years in prison for illegal possession of a firearm. Laden will also be serving an 18-month sentence for illegal possession of ammunition concurrently. He was sentenced when he appeared before the St. Elizabeth Circuit Court on Wednesday. He was charged for illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition by the police following a high-speed chase on October 28. A gun was tossed during the chase, but was subsequently found. Motorists will pay more at the pumps this week for gas and diesel. We get these and all the details in this quick business report.
According to the latest ex-refinery costs from Petrojam, motorists should see an increase at the pumps in the prices of gasoline and diesel effective Thursday, December 17. Following an increase of $1.48 each, 87 and 90 octane gasoline will be sold for $108.89 and $111.72 per liter, respectively. Automotive diesel fuel will be sold for $114.53 per liter, following an increase of $2, while ultra-low sulfur diesel saw an increase of $1.29 and will be sold for $116.77 per liter. Kerosene increased in price by 84 cents and will be sold for $88.89 per liter. Propane liquid petroleum will be sold for $47.43 per liter, up by 25 cents, and butane liquid petroleum will be sold for $50.82 per liter after an increase of 48 cents. Marketing companies and retailers will add their respective markup to these prices. In Wednesday's trading session, the JSE Combined Index declined by 1,956 points to close at under 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 89 stocks, of which 32 advanced, 38 declined, and 19 traded firm. The Junior Market Index advanced by 10 points to close at under 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for Access Financial Services Limited, Berger Paints Jamaica, and Blue Power Group Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica, AMG Packaging and Paper Company, and Cargo Handlers Limited. Trading firm were 1834 Investments Limited, Burrito Investments Limited, and CAC 2000 Preference Shares. Mayberry Jamaican Equities Limited was the volume leader with 10 million units, followed by Grace Kennedy Limited with 3.1 million units, and Trans Jamaican Highway Limited with over 1 million units. Now for the foreign exchange. The US dollar on Wednesday, December 16, ended trading at $144.12. The Canadian dollar sold for an average $113.15. The pound sterling traded for $192.74, and the euro ended trading at $177.28. Oil climbed to a 9-month high on Thursday after government data showed a fall in U.S. crude stockpiles last week, while progress towards a U.S. fiscal stimulus deal and a strong Asian demand also buoyed prices. Brent crude futures gained 14 cents to $51.22 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude futures rose by 20 cents to $48.02 a barrel. And that does it for Thursday's edition of the Business Report on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson.
If you're in the mood for some honey-glazed ribs or maybe some succulent jerk chicken, then come along to this week's Culinary Trails as we make a pit stop at Chill and Grill in Kingston.
Chill and Grill came about because my family has a farm, and throughout all the years, the meat price of pig was on a steady price despite the cost of feeds and the different inputs going up. So out of doing playing dominoes and doing a little, you just throw on a grill for your friends, that was where Chill and Grill started actually 3 years ago, where we use locally grown meat, because sometimes I don't have enough on my farm, so I have to buy from Copperwood or buy elsewhere. But we use locally grown meats, and then we season. Part of our secret is that Chef and I, we season at least 5 days in advance. So it gives the meat time to marinate. And then, as you know, crispy pork, which is one of our specialties, is, oh Lord, how do you describe it apart from divine? But when you're a pork lover, crispy pork is the best way to have pork because it's like pork served with love. That is the Lacaja China box. That is the secret to the crispy pork. That is the secret to the crunchy, crackling pork skin that everyone loves. It actually was invented in Cuba, in Chinatown in Cuba, mimicking how they cook pork. You know, like bury it in the ground and put the coal on top. So the pork sits in the bottom and then you slow cook it. So you get this moist, well-cooked pulled pork effect. Awesome, awesome, awesome. In fact, some people call it the magic of the box because it's magical. 1 week, a customer said, I don't eat pork, can you do salmon? And we did grill salmon. And the gentleman's report, when he left here, he sent a picture. By the time he was at Manningsville Road, it was finished. So we are versatile. So we will cook what you want. But we do have steamed fish. We do have roast fish. And we do have jerk chicken like you have never had it before. Because the box, again, there's magic in the box. Always, we have barbecue pigtail, which is a Jamaican favorite. We have steam and roast fish. We have jerk chicken. We have, chef's specialty is barbecue honey glazed ribs. Now I promise you, come and taste the ribs, it will be like no other. Seasoned with love and cooked and served with passion. We use all natural products, and so it will be natural for us to do natural juices. I have a young man who is a friend of my son who makes natural juices.
Hi, I'm Nigel Brady. I am the founder of Nature's Sip, and what we offer is a myriad of flavors of 100% natural beverages, right? All homegrown produce, and you have the choice of sweetened or unsweetened. Most customers tend to prefer the unsweetened because you actually feel the wellness in it at the first sip. So initially, that's the sip of change that we intend to offer or already offering to the diets of Jamaicans.
So we are a family setting, although we can't have the gathering now because of Corona. But if you want to go someplace where you're comfortable and feel mamas love them, Chill and Grill is the place for you. What we have done because of COVID, everything has been converted to grab and go. So we invested in a warmer where we can keep the food warm, and then we schedule pickups. So if you don't want to come out of your car, you can tell us what time you're coming and we'll meet you at the gate and deliver it. Or if you want it delivered at a small cost, we'll send it to you. If you are having a private gathering and you just want awesome grilled foods, or matter of fact, awesome any foods, you can call us and we will package it and deliver it for you. Because the idea is we grill and you chill. So you just bring the orders to us and we will deliver it to you wherever you are. So you have fun and stay safe in your neck of the woods. We now cook on every last Saturday, but food is ready from 9 in the morning. So we cater to the man who wants to go bird bush or want to go beach. Him can come early, pick up him crispy pork and head to the hills. Why Chill and Grill? If you want succulent pork, if you want pork that you will lick your fingers, if you think Kentucky is finger licking, come to Chill and Grill. I promise you, you're gonna get food with love. Food served with love and with passion.
In regional news, we go first to the Bahamas. The 2020 Fiscal Strategy Report was tabled in the House of Assembly and Senate on Wednesday. State Minister for Finance revealed that the government is to implement a gaming tax on winnings in the new year, cut capital expenditure by $100 million, and limit the growth of the public sector. The report also indicated that unemployment numbers in the Bahamas will remain high until at least 2025. Jasmine Brown reports.
2020 Fiscal Strategy Report was tabled in the House of Assembly by Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis.
The importance of this fiscal strategy to our economic development cannot be overstated, for strong, structured, and disciplined fiscal management underpins our economic viability.
The COVID-19 pandemic has delivered the near-crushing blow to the economy, leaving thousands of people out of work over the last few months. In the height of the pandemic, the Department of Labor estimated unemployment levels to be more than 40%. And according to the FSR, unemployment in the Bahamas will likely remain elevated in the medium term. The report noted in its debt sustainability analysis, which uses the IMF's Market Access Country Analytical Tool, that unemployment in 2020 is estimated to be at 25.6% and will drop to an estimated 13.5% in 2023. In the Senate, Thompson highlighted the fact that the government has implemented social assistance programs to deal with the unprecedented unemployment numbers.
The government has spent over $177 million to the end of October 2020. This value does not include the additional commitment of direct funding in excess of $60 million to support our essential unemployment programs, food assistance programs, and other efforts from November into the new year.
Thompson also said the government will implement a gaming tax on winnings in the new year in a bid to increase revenue collection. As it relates to cutting costs, Thompson said there are several recommendations that are being considered to achieve $100 million in cost savings, including the introduction of cost recovery measures at state-owned entities.
And our nation, despite its vulnerable position, will land on its feet.
Now, what was clear from members of the Minnis administration today is the fact that they believe this fiscal strategy report is exactly what they say is needed to get the Bahamas through the economic hump brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
In sports, as the country tries to flatten a rising curve of COVID-19 cases, the Health and Wellness Ministry is not pulling any punches on sporting events deemed to be high risk and that flout protocols. The plug was pulled on the JN Bank Men's Invitational Exhibition Tennis Tournament, which began on Monday and was scheduled to run until Friday. The event was reportedly not sanctioned. This according to Tennis Jamaica President John Pbcj, and subsequently called off at the Ligani Club on Wednesday. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has issued a stern warning that unauthorized sporting events will suffer a similar fate. He urged organizers to abide by the COVID-19 prevention protocols and follow established guidelines to host events. Currently, the island has over 3,100 active cases and at least 276 deaths as a result of the pandemic. And that's our package. Thanks so much for always making it PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station.